What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology retold action, spawning in the right side of the map in the blue color, playing as Ra. His name is TheRapl. His opponent today in the red color, playing as... I almost said playing as Ulysses, but I stopped myself, but then I said it anyways. Playing as Freyr. His name is Ulysses. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the quarterfinals of the Wrath of the Gods qualifier number 1. Now, for those of you not really sure how things work, there are 3 qualifiers in this one, all action-packed, all stuffed with games to sink your teeth into. So if you want Age Mythology content, it is there. If you want Age Mythology to consume, that is what I mean. So a lot of very, very high level games going to be coming, moving up into the main event. On the left side of the map, we've got ourselves the Nose of the Sphinx over here, plus 15% of base hit points there for the buildings. Over on this one here, we've got that Sistrum of Bast, minus 15% of the food wood gold cost. Over onto this position here as well, we've got the Tusk of the Iron Boar, cavalry hit points plus 10% there as well. Up on the top side of the map here, we've got Hermes' Winged Sandals, movement speed plus 10% of base. Okay, so some very, very good relics, especially up here, Hermes' Winged Sandals. That one's amazing for Freyr to get through the early game. Now, I've had a little bit of experience now playing Freyr, watching Freyr, and seeing how this god kind of works when trying to deal with the early game of the Egyptians. Right now, the early game of the Egyptians, especially in the mid-classical age, is incredibly oppressive to play against for the Norse civilization. However, Freyr's got all the answers. Freyr's got speedier throw and axemen. He's got bonus economy to play with, and he's going to be able to utilize those Hersa in a really, really good way to be able to take out Wadgets. Plus, he's got the ability to throw down a hill fort quick smart onto a second gold mine location, which is very, very important. So, we'll see how things are going to work here for Ulysses and if you can work this one out. But my recommendation for those of you struggling with this matchup against Ra, against Set, against Isis, anyone who's going in with Axemen early, you want to open up with throwing Axemen and Hersa. Lots of longhouses, and you can have a really, really good time of it. Nonetheless, the temple's going to be coming through here for Ulysses. If you take a quick look at his upgrades, he hasn't actually got himself any of those early upgrades. Now, you can obviously get them. It's not a terrible idea to go for it. If you don't, it's only a handful of lost income. So while I do recommend doing it if you want to learn the build order, if it's a little bit challenging, no worries. Just get those upgrades in as you advance to the classical age, and it's not going to be the end of the world. Though we are going to be seeing a fairly quick advance here from TheRapl. He's got all of his drop sites right now empowered. Also, if we take a quick look at this monument here, he's going to be able to drop that granary smack bang in the middle and have that double hunt in his main base, which is insanely strong. Plus, over onto this side as well, he's going to be able to have those chickens there to be able to eat. As a priest going to be moving out onto the side, checking things out on the front base here, we see Rapl claiming the hill. And what does he notice with this? Well, he sees a lot of the main base. He's going to be able to see exactly what Ulysses is going to be going for. Now, unfortunately for Rapl, he sent his priest around to the left side of the map, so he's not going to see that town center here. So Ulysses might be able to have some sort of a thought process as to maybe grabbing the town center on this location. Well, we'll see if that's going to happen or not. As the priest comes over here, going to pick up that Tusk of the Iron Boar, bring that one back home. Up onto this side, we'll see the obelisk getting sniped down. Longhouse going to get dropped down for Ulysses as well. As the Draugr gets to help take that one out. And it's just going to be the one longhouse for now. Did we see those upgrades coming through for Ulysses? Yes, we do. He still doesn't have hand axe. A bit surprising there, but he'll probably grab that one fairly soon. Meanwhile, we just simply see Rapl taking his time in the early game to set up these Wadgets. I think it's really important from the Egyptian side of things to kind of understand your power spikes. And early game, your power spikes are what? They're basically hitting at like 5:30. So 5 minutes 30, 6 minutes into the game. And we are seeing Rapl moving across the map nice and early. So this could be a really, really nice option here for Ulysses. But he drops down the Asgardian Bastion, which does slow down any ability to throw extra military buildings down. Clearly, the idea here for Ulysses is to effectively drop the hill fort and then get the town center. But the army of TheRapl is coming through. Now his obelisk is being taken out, so he's not going to be noticing the Hersa moving over to the other side. We see the villager almost getting sniped there. It looks like it's going to be able to... No, it does end up dying. And another one might go down there as well. The Wadjet is absolutely insane. Another villager killed with those Wadjets. And I do think at this stage, had Ulysses been spending his resources, he probably could have defended this. However, he's got the hill fort, and he's going to be now going for a town center as well. TheRapl's pressure here is mounting, and I'll see if he's going to be able to make this one work. As the units charging through, they see the hill fort. However, it does end up finishing, and the army here now for TheRapl will have to retreat back. But there is this entirety of this location open. No wall over here will allow the units to move forward. But TheRapl doesn't see the town center, doesn't realize that it could potentially be going up, as we see the obelisks now starting to be created. We've got medium axemen, we've got medium slingers coming through. This town center secures this food on the back, and we're also seeing a super early ring oath coming through for more of those Asgardian hill forts to come through, as he's going to be getting the favor. Pretty unique way to play this matchup. I've been seeing a lot of Freyr players going with a lot of those Draugrs as their main resource spend. Wadjet's going to be moving forward, trying to hit the dwarves. Great reaction there from Ulysses. He can start putting dwarves over onto this gold mine, walling this up. That's a really big important thing. The big mistake here from Ulysses is to not I think caring too much about the tower, but more so just block this position in with a house, temple, and all the other good stuff, so those Wadjets can't just move forward and get some value there. Nonetheless, the army now going to be moving up onto the right side of the map, as Ulysses, he does not need to defend or take a fight here in any way, shape, or form. For an axeman, does manage to get sniped down. Those Wadjets from range here are so insanely good. A house going to be coming up for Ulysses on this position. He's going for the 4 giraffe. He's got back food here. Just be defensive. You don't need to be sacking villagers here. Nonetheless, TheRapl is going to say, thank you very much for that. If you want to be giving me villagers, I will take every single last one of them. As the army still moving around onto this side, we've got an obelisk coming up over here, trying to get some sort of line of sight cooking here on this gold mine. He doesn't see it there. The hill fort is up. That gives him some sort of an inkling as to something coming through, as the Wadjet's charging for, not managing to pick off one of those throwing axemen there just yet. Villagers onto this hunt going to be getting pushed back. He just shoots 3 shots, and 3 shots snaps a villager. Are you kidding me? You know, there was a change on the Voobly balance patch, not to bring balance too much into these competitive matches. It's more interesting to talk about how they're actually playing. But there was a change that happened on the Voobly balance patch that made Wadjets do a reduced amount of damage to villagers. And I think arguably that might be a decent idea here. Because these things hit like a truck. My God, he one bangs the villager. What do they shoot at? Do they shoot at 1.5 seconds? Okay. Actually crazy, but villagers going to be eating those turkeys up, the chickens. But still, behind all of this, Ulysses, he's still slowly starting to get an advantage on villagers. TheRapl hasn't got himself a second town center just yet. TheRapl does know there's a second town center in, and now he's going to be dropping it. So we're moving in to the next stage of this game, as a Hersa on this spot, going to be getting pushed back. Villagers over here, a little bit out of position as well. Why are you not on this back wood line? Keep your villagers as safe as possible. Hide everything. But Ulysses does have the right unit composition. The problem for Ulysses right now is that TheRapl is going heroic age, and the counter to this army composition here is just mass chariot archers. Alternatively, you can also kind of go into camel riders here as well, but I have an inkling, I haven't tested this just yet, but I have an inkling that mass throwing axemen beats 50-50 camel rider, 50-50 camel rider, whatchamacallits, axemen. I have an inkling. I don't know for sure, certain. I haven't tested it yet, but I think that might be the case. Nonetheless, we're just now slowly starting to move forward. Got ourselves a longhouse coming up over here. Villagers moving over onto this position, trying to grab that food here. Does TheRapl see it? No, his obelisks are being cleaned up ever so slightly. As now we're seeing electron bullets. I mean, the other option to just take out all of those thrown axemen, which is very, very simple, is electron bullets and slings of the sun causes a lot of problems here. And this might be the reason why we're seeing that Asgardian Bastion, just on the fact that throwing axemen Huskarl can work here. If you can snipe down those axemen fast enough, then the Huskarl can charge forward and actually kind of take out the slingers to some degree. Alternatively, just mass raiding cavalry is probably your best bet, but it's a big transition away from this infantry army here that Ulysses has constructed. Is the army going to be retreating back? We got the citadel getting dropped down over onto this position here. Copper armor just about to come through, and we'll see where the next plan is here for our main man Ulysses. He's got this perfect gold mine. He's still trying to eat this hut. There goes another villager. There goes another villager. There goes another villager. Wait, I don't know if the last one dies. I think the last one got away. Dead? Dead? Yeah, the last one only took one shot or two shots. And there goes another villager. Come on, Ulysses. Get the villagers to safety. He does still have a villager lead for the time being, but that's just constructed there because of the differential in ages here. And that's going to go back in the wayside of TheRapl moving forward severely. Also based on the Citadel Center that's there. As another... I think that the poison damage shouldn't continue if you garrison. I feel like that would be some great counterplay against... a certain unit that the Egyptian players have got. Nonetheless, the watchtower is going to be getting taken down over here. Dwarves starting to mow away at this forward tree here, and TheRapl yet again says, "Hello there, my dears. I would love to just snipe those down." Ulysses does get away with 3 HP there. And he is going up through A here, so he's still alive in this situation. Another villager getting sniped down as Ulysses is just refusing to use the space in the back of his base here to kind of keep all of his villagers out of harm's way. The problem here is there's shifting sands available, and will Ulysses ever be able to actually defend here and get into a position where his army is going to be that really strong Norse army that deals with Egyptian? We are going to be seeing the Scarab getting sniped down, raiding cavalry coming through as well. As the rock giant on the back, popping out, seeing what it can do there as well. Meanwhile, the units on the back here are going to be slowly starting to move forward here for TheRapl. We've got double obelisks here as well. Just so many obelisks on the front. How much do they cost here? 10 gold. 10 gold. I don't think they're cheap. Well, for Isis, they're cheap. For Ra, you've just got so much extra economy that I guess they're cheap because of that. Nonetheless, they're all going to be getting sniped down, and Ulysses is going to be able to slowly start moving forward. If Ulysses can somehow manage to sneak this town center up, which is barely out of range of this obelisk, then he's going to have access to that Ghoul and Bursty. However, TheRapl is having none of it. He's already going to the Mythic Age through Horus, and that's just going to completely and utterly decimate this throwing axeman army here. Another really cool technology, for those of you who don't know, is in the temple there is this technology here which is called Crimson Linen, which boosts your every single one of your myth units. Scarabs by 60%, but that's not really a big deal. Avengers by 20% on the lifesteal. That's a big deal. As the town center is attempting to get snuck up, however, the slingers going to come through and they will absolutely brutalize these throwing axemen. Good micro there, though, to pull back as the raiding cavalry now starting to move forward. And Ulysses needs to know the only way to deal with... Oh, maybe with a Ghoul and Bursty here, he might be okay. Is he going to drop it down? We see the A gear coming through and the Ghoul and Bursty dropping in to spread those slingers. So no shifting sands is going to be able to be used here. We see the shifting sands coming through as a couple of units are going to be able to get pulled out of there. But a fantastic usage there of Bursty and A-Gear. However, Tornado coming through, and he completely removes a huge amount of those units there of Ulysses. Both players now in a huge amount of pain. Bursty will be living the population differential right now, very, very close. Ulysses managing to stay alive in this one, but TheRapl, he's in the Mythic Age. He's got the Avenger. He's got units coming in a big way, and Ulysses here, he's on 3 town centers. Same 2 coming up here for TheRapl. Both players are going to be able to move forward into the next portion of the game very, very quickly. But the problem is that Ulysses has no gold powers left. His gold mine on the back here, only 1,000 gold remaining here. Yes, he's got the hill fort down on this spot. Maybe dropping that next Asgardian bastion down here to try and just hold this location wouldn't be a terrible idea, as the village is getting pushed back over onto this position as well. And we'll see if those units can start getting a little bit of value onto the front here or not. As TheRapl's army slowly starting to move forward here and see what it can do. Huskal taking out the villages and all the other good stuff. The Godi on the back here, probably not enough to deal with that Avenger. It absolutely dominates with that special ability, as he is going to be pulling that one back. The Chariot Archers now starting to come through here for the TheRapl. As the Godi now going to start taking out that Avenger here, and that one's simply just going to be pulling back. And the Dwarves all going to go onto this gold mine and continue to try and hold it. We are seeing, what? Freyr's Gift at 55 favor, 400 food. That's a big technology to be grabbing here for Ulysses, but I think it's super early. Every single technology you get is 5 favor, I believe, off. However, the Slinger's coming through, sniping units in a big way. Good pullback micro there. Great micro, in fact, from the TheRapl, as that Avenger comes through. Does get taunted in, and we'll see the Bergreezy able to take that one down, but the population advantage is now slowly starting to go into the favor of the TheRapl here, as he's going to be prodding in onto this gold mine. I would have loved to see another not Migdol, but hill fort sticking in here to defend, as more units are going to be getting sniped down. We see dwarves coming now over onto this gold mine as well. One very low HP villager there going to be sticking it out, as Ulysses, he's going to have to engage here soon. He's got no gold in the bank. He's got 31 dwarves on gold, but they aren't really gathering, as opposed to TheRapl, who's got, or 24, TheRapl, who's got 36 and 1,400 gold in the bank here to just spam out a whole bunch of slingers, chariot archers, all the good stuff. Now we've got Herdman, Huskal, Bergreezy, raiding cavalry, but slightly under upgraded, as he's still working towards getting himself the next thing. If you can send those Huskal in onto those champion slingers, they will be doing well at this point. There's only a handful of axemen here. Is there enough population, however, for our Norseman Ulysses or not, is the question, as he tries to break through here. The priests on the back here have managed to take down that Bergreezy there, but it's looking like there is just simply put not enough stuff here for Ulysses, as the army of TheRapl, too strong, keeps the lizards alive, the Wajitos, and they're still causing problems for Ulysses, even into this portion of the game, as the Slinger's now charging through to push off of this gold mine. There are still dwarves mining this gold here, but TheRapl's at 240 or 255 population. Does he have 2 citadels? He's got 2 citadels now, and he's got fortified town centers. No. Yes, he's got fortified town centers as well. So his population is absolutely stonking, and he's going to be able to get another citadel in how long? In a few minutes. It's going to take him a while to get up to 150 favor, but he will be able to get there. As TheRapl pulls back, he's got it set up on this position. Migdol's coming up all over the place here. The easiest way for anyone to set up a gold starve on an opponent is you just start putting those castles down on every single gold mine. Not only does it secure it for you to put villagers onto it, but it also prevents your opponent from just sending villagers there and sneaking it while your population isn't over there. As the dwarves going to be moving over onto this position here. Huskarl's slowly going to start pushing forward. The throw and axemen going to be taking out those axemen on the front there. Population is starting to get big here, but I mean, you're still behind 25. Still behind 25 population. And the question is, can you ever take a fight here and win? I think the answer is most likely if you can get all of his upgrades in. That's the challenging part here, I would say, for our Frere player. Now, all these units are obviously very strong at the moment, but he doesn't have the armory upgrades. He's now getting himself this 9 waves technology, which does make his heroes faster, but he's still missing the big technology that comes with Vidar because he's not in the Mythic Age just yet. And so Slinger's causing a lot of problems over here. The Huskarl do manage to get it onto the back, but there's no heroes here to deal with those Wadgets. And the Wadgets are just absolutely annihilating everything, as TheRapl has found yet another beautiful choke point for him to sit in here. And Ulysses has to pull back. Catapult gets pulled away here. I think the problem here mostly for Ulysses' army is that he's kind of refusing to go into like a ball of cavalry. I think it's the only real thing for him in the heroic age right now that he can use to win this army. Axeman, Chariot Archer, Slinger. Obviously, it's going to take him a long time, but he's got to get out. He's only got 1 Great Hall, so it's going to take him... Oh, he's got 2 Great Halls now. It's going to take him a very, very long time to get those units out. Maybe you could also mix in Huskarl to speed up the process, because they're not actually terrible to mix in. As long as you can micro them away from the Axemen, it's completely fine here. But more raiding cavalry coming through. Population differential is at 100 here. As this gold mine is pushed off, 9 villages, 9 civilian units on gold here, getting pushed off of this gold mine over here as well. And 21 minutes, 37 seconds into this game, Ulysses tapped out. TheRapl rushes to a very quick 1-0 lead here. Looking at that post game, you just see these resources. They're actually quite close. But the problem here is mostly just, even after all the damage that TheRapl was getting off here, units killed is gigantic. Funnily enough, it was only 20 villagers killed. Now, I say only 20 villagers killed. That's a significant amount of kills. But a lot of that was kind of made up for with Ulysses having the second town center earlier, the third town center earlier. So if you take a look at the civilian unit graph here, you know, it's relatively close for the most part in this game, right? So the problem here is just unit. It has to be stated. It's unit choice in this game, or technological choice. You see that TheRapl has got 48 text research to 29 for Ulysses. Actual resource total here is pretty close. So I think if Ulysses could have worked out unit composition here to go for to defeat this Axeman Slinger Chariot army, which I do think is majority cavalry units, he's probably going to be able to push this game into the next portion where the Ra player then starts going for the premium units in the Migdol, which is going to be Chariot Archer, Camel Rider, Elephants, and slowly starts moving away from those Slinger units and maybe going even into those Spearmen as well once the units actually come out. I'm interested, did TheRapl have that already set up? He basically is already set up for it. Almost champion Spearman, just missing these 2 upgrades. Now, it's important to remember for those buddying Ra players out there that greatest of the 50 is an infantry technology now. So it does actually apply to your Axemen as well. So very important to be picking that one up nice and early. Nonetheless, does not impact this game in the slightest. And we'll move into the next game now. Hope you guys are enjoying it. Stick with me and we'll get the next one going. Game number 2, ladies and gentlemen, in the right-hand corner of the map, playing as Odin. His name is TheRapl. His opponent today in the red color, playing as Gaia. His name is Ulysses. The map is Mount Olympus. Ooh, baby. The map is in a gigantic ball of fun here. This is one of my favorite maps in the map pool thus far. Just on the fact that it's just quite large, which really changes everyone's kind of ideas of what's good, what's bad, what's fantastic, what's not so fantastic. Nonetheless, we'll move up onto this side and just see what we're going to be seeing. One unique part about this map is that all the relics, basically you know their location. They're all scattered around the outside of the map. We've got Bow of Artemis here with that ranged soldier coming in. We can move over onto this spot where all the good stuff is happening. Over on here, we've got that Skulls of Serapes, everyone's favorite monkey relic. Down on the bottom map here, we've got ourselves the relic Hermes Winged Sandals. That's going to be a big one there. It always is. Over on this one, we've also got that Blanket of Empress Zoe here. Damage vulnerability to crush. Not the most important of relics, but definitely something worth picking up. As well as the Hestia's Hearth. Another really fun relic there to boost your villager train time. Just a wee bit. Nonetheless, we'll see how this game's going to go. You also have in the middle of the map, you got a little temple here. This doesn't really do anything. It's just kind of sitting here looking cool. You can kill this temple as well. Like if you want to claim the center and put a fortress right here, you can come and bash this down and then replace it. Now, you're also killing the temple to the gods on Mount Olympus, which would be very, very rude. This is literally Zeus's home here. I don't know why you would want to kill Zeus on this map, but it's literally Zeus's home. But nonetheless, we'll see how the game's going to move along here. Ulysses with the Odin against TheRapl, sorry, with Gaia against TheRapl's Odin is an interesting one. How do you play this here with Gaia? Personally, I find this matchup quite challenging as the Gaia, but of all of the Norse gods that are good against Atlantean, I do think that Odin is the worst of the bunch. Maybe Freyr could arguably be worse, arguably, Freyr could have more of a challenge than Odin. Just on the fact that Odin has Hamask, which boosts up Berserkers. Now, recently, I've started to see some players having some success with Chiroballista. So it could be the case that the players are playing slightly incorrectly, so to speak, with Atlantean, and that Chiroballista are actually okay. I want to believe it. I want the Chiroballista to be a unit that's not terrible. I think that it might be, but I'm still waiting to see it. I'm still waiting to try it out. I saw a game. If you haven't seen it, I recommend going and checking it out. It's on Magic's YouTube channel. Huge shout out to him for all the YouTube content he's putting out. If you're not subscribed, go over there and check him out. But he's got a game of Kronos versus Loki where he makes a lot of Chiroballista, and they do work. Now, obviously, they do have counters, heavy counters, and they're a difficult unit to use. But they can do their job if used correctly. Nonetheless, TheRapl in the center of the map going to start making out those hurts. So he hasn't gone for any relics just yet. We've got over on this position. Ulysses sees that monkey relic and he's like, gimme, gimme, nom nom noms. So he's going to be moving in with that one there nicely. And now we see Leto. Ooh. I don't mind this. I think Leto makes a lot of sense. Now you have to be a little bit more smart as the Norse player. Now, TheRapl is obviously a very smart player. He's always thinking about his win conditions and how he's going to be able to find advantages in a game. Wait, what? This could be a very short one. TheRapl is going to send everything over here. Ulysses has got 0 villagers on food. He's bringing... He does have the monkeys. The monkeys will be big. As the citizen hero comes over to help out, Berserk will get taken down. Ulysses having some idle time while this is all going on. Oracle's going to get taken out as well. Now, it is a long distance to get over here, so it does make sense that he's going for this town center, but he's against Norse. And this is going to give all of the advantage over to TheRapl to do whatever he really feels like. TheRapl could go for a second town center here. He could go for a third town center here. He could go for a full all-in. He can go for a fast Njord here. The question is, what is he going to go for? He could also go for light pressure into the next age. He's now starting to move forward, thinking about grabbing this town center on the front. Going to be dropping the armory. Oop. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. But we could be seeing a Njord timing attack here. Getting a little bit excited. We've got the most off-meta tournament game I think I've ever seen. We've got Leto coming through for Gaia, off-meta god. We're probably going to be seeing Njord coming through for TheRapl, another off-meta god. And we've got 2 town centers coming through for the Atlantean player, another off-meta strategy. Off-meta is the name of the game, and the name of the game is off-meta. Absolutely love it. As the double counter barracks now coming down to start making some turnaround. But I think what he actually might need is Kara Ballista already. Because you go on 2 town centers. He obviously doesn't really know what TheRapl's going for, as TheRapl he's taken all the villagers off of wood and taken them all over onto goats for the time being. I love that. He's going to be able to hit that next stage very, very shortly. The timing is going to be absolutely brutal as those spiders are sitting here ready to cause some problems. So we're getting a little bit of damage done as the army has to retreat back now. Ulysses does still have a little bit of favor income. We've got a mana coming up onto this side over here. As TheRapl inching closer and closer to the next stage. Now the question really is, what sort of army comp after you hit the next stage? So you go Njord, you go in for Jarls? Ring giver Jarls to kill off any sort of automaton mass? Do you go in for Berserks? Looks like you're going for Berserks. I mean, it makes a lot of sense here. Another longhouse going to be coming down. The thing is, he's got like 75 seconds to set up for this, and then he probably should attack. Otherwise, Ulysses is going to be able to set up for the defense. And what's the defense? Well, it's just massing a whole bunch of Kara Ballista and just heroizing them, sitting them on the back of his base over here with maybe some buildings on either side so they can just pop in and out and around. And then he can just defend, and he can have that set up in his main base as well. As TheRapl is, look at the resources here. He is absolutely macroing up his storm. Obviously doesn't have that many resources to play with, but he's not floating anything while this entire situation is coming through. Are we seeing houses coming down? Where are they coming down? Just, oh. TheRapl is a man after my own heart. Look at this guy go. I've said, how many times have I said this? Take one unit and just say, I'm just going to chuck it into my base and build houses. Never, ever have your houses on the front ever again, TheRapl says. And he's absolutely right about it. There's the walking woods coming through. 7 trees on the way forward. And a mountain giant that's going to be coming through as the trees immediately making a beeline for the hometown center. No hero citizen in here to defend for the time being. Hamask is on the way. It's going to be a big boost to the damage output for those Berserks. Still not a single Kara Ballista coming in here for Ulysses, as the villagers going to be repairing back up the town center. There's still some very low HP, or a low HP tree here that's going to be getting some huge damage in. TheRapl is still getting eaten alive by these spider lairs. They're getting a lot of value in this game. Favor situation here, 29. Where is the mountain giant? It's now starting to come in. Another spider lair gets dropped down, picks off 2 more Berserks here as the Terma spam continuing. And Ulysses sees the army comp and he's like, I'm not going to build any Kara Ballista. I'll tell you what beats Berserks, Micro, and Terma. That's what he's saying beats these Berserks. And he might not be wrong here. As the mountain giant slowly starting to clean up in the center. We've got 3 Terma in here. As the units for TheRapl, they need to find citizen kills and quick. TheRapl is starting to float a little bit of gold at the moment, but they can't really be helped. As the Berserks charging for another one of those spider lairs coming through. This thing is doing absolute work. Buildings getting taken down is going to be a big problem for Ulysses. Ulysses' villager production here is still decent, but he is struggling to hold as the Terma charging around on this position. He does have that channels upgrade. You can see that speed moves down considerably when he moves onto that regular unlushified stuff there. Villagers getting pulled off this position. There is a hero citizen in this pack of villagers, but it won't be killing off that one, and you can actually start taking out those citizens as well, retreating away. Ulysses is playing a little bit of ring around the rosy, so to speak, here. TheRapl here trying to find stuff. We just see another tower has been set up for Ulysses as the Berserks now charging in to take this gold mine out. Lots of citizens will be falling here as the Berserks just kind of ignore the Thermofire as those Therm are diving into the mana, pulling over into the watchtower over here as well. And TheRapl going to pull out elsewhere. He's still just spamming nothing but Berserks as the Mountain Giant does fall. He's 30 favor away from another Walking Woods, as this timing attack is the timing attack which just never ends. Gold mine going to get finished up over here means this gold mine is going to be the next port of call. As TheRapl says, all right, got to pull all the way back. How is he 5.9 speed on those Berserks? Does this give... Are they always... No. Okay, the low HP one. There it is. The low HP one is 5.9. Look at the damage. 12.5 compared to 7.4. That's how this technology works. There's the heavy infantry coming in as more houses coming through, and TheRapl is trying to force Ulysses to defend here, and Ulysses is just saying, I am playing a different type of game here. Only Terma running around to kill everything. We're going to see this economic guild getting taken out, which will be limiting the speed of those Terma on that area there, but retreating away first and foremost. Going to be sniping down one of those bad boys. A little bit of counter raid there with the automaton. Is going to be doing a lot of good damage. As the villagers back onto this gold mine over here. Berserk's going to be retreating away. Can Ulysses hold this is the big question. And we've got a hill fort coming out onto this position. Maybe for some Huskal here to sort of tank up against the big Terma ball. And now the army sees the Terma out of position and he's ready to start charging forward. Does catch the Terma out a little bit, but that automaton is tanking in a big way. As the Berserk's just that little bit too strong. Got the monkeys in though to tank up. That's a big, big help for these Terma as they're going to be pulling the Berserks two different ways, but more Berserks are going to be coming through here. This is the fight which TheRapl absolutely needs as we're now starting to see those Kyra Ballista coming through. That's what he needs. 4.4 speed. As we see the town center actually going to be coming back up now for Ulysses. Another cheeky little spider lair gets dropped down, and now with the Kyra Ballista transition, I do think you have to move away from these Berserks to some degree here. But this does mean that Ulysses is going to have to be stuck in his base. He can't really use those Kyra Ballista anywhere else. 125 of 125 population, a lot of Huskal now queued up as the Herso pushing through. We've got 100 favor. He can just drop that and go right now. Population differential is pretty close as the trees are going to decide to go for that town center here. The Herso charging forward as well. Now going to be seeing some walls getting broken down by the TheRapl as he's able to just break through here. No problems. Doesn't have to take out the houses or anything else. As now, can you defend against the second trees? Is the big question. Berserk's coming through a great choke point created right now by Ulysses, but he doesn't have that many Kyra Ballista, and retreating is the weakness of the Kyra Ballista, ladies and gentlemen. As soon as those Berserks get onto them, they start getting absolutely dominated. Town center over here still looking like it's surviving. 4 of those trees still remaining over here, but citizens are getting taken down in a big way as TheRapl now into the main base, takes down that automaton. He's got a couple of random trees over here as well. A lone Huskal comes through to start taking down those Terma to boot here. As the Kyra Ballista are going to get taken down. Citizens going to get taken down as well. And now Ulysses is in a lot of hurt. And he does decide to tap out in that moment. The TheRapl Njord is back. And it pushes and it bullies Ulysses. Man, Ulysses just refusing to go in to those Kyra Ballista after seeing the mass Berserks was his downfall here. If you get yourself just a little bit of a front line, and it doesn't even matter if it's catapulties or not, but just a little bit of a front line with Mamilo would be the best bet, but also making some automatons here. Then you can just sit back and just enjoy the defense. Just the hardest part about Kyra Ballista, in my opinion, is just trying not to get caught out. So you got to get some sort of line of sight set up. You're basically playing with like Wadgets as an Atlantean player to some degree. And just don't get caught out. Make sure those Kyribalis are firing at the start of the fight before the Berserks can gap close. And you should be able to take some decent wins here. But Ulysses not able to figure it out. And he is now suddenly down 0-2 against TheRapl in this best of 5 series for the quarterfinals of the Wrath of the Gods qualifier number 1. We'll move on to game number 3 very, very shortly. Hope you're having a fantastic time. If you are, don't forget to hit that follow button. Subscribe if you feel like it. If you're on YouTube, definitely hit that subscribe button. It's free. We'll see you in the next one. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, game number 3 here. As I have just noticed that I have not updated my scoreboard. Game number 3, TheRapl currently up 2-0 in this best of 5. Can Ulysses bring it back or not? Is the big question on everyone's lips. Well, at least it's on my lips. As TheRapl is giving him a great assistance at the start here, not auto-queuing his villagers. Nonetheless, he is playing as a Uranos. And he's in the blue color. Ulysses, on the other hand, he is on one of his main gods. He's on his namesake to some degree, Zeus. Ulysses, for those of you who do not know, is also known as Odysseus, of which you can get access to with playing as Zeus. What a time to be alive. We're on the map Kurlauga. We've seen this one quite a bit, and this is a god on this side here that I think TheRapl has been really enjoying on this map, on the map Kurlauga. Very, very strong god here. Lots of different shenanigans you can pull out, especially with the Sky Passage stuff. Now, the more I play as Uranos, the more I'm starting to realize that when I'm playing against Greek, I really don't want to go into archers. I really think that I do see archers having some success from time to time. Don't get me wrong. But I do really like Mass Mamilo, and I do really like adding in Thea Contarius. Now, if I do want to make myself some archers, I'll tell you what the best archer that Uranos has. It's not Arcus. It's Satyr. And the more I see Uranos, the more I realize favor income is pretty insane. It's almost, I think at 10 oracles, I believe you're getting something in the vicinity of 40 favor per minute. At 10 oracles. And you can even improve on that with Sons of Sleipnir to spam even more satyrs out. And this has got to be the game plan for most Uranos players going forward. I'm not saying don't build Arcus ever. I'm just saying it shouldn't be your go-to unit, in my opinion. At the moment, that's my current running theory. Now, I've been wrong about things before, and I'll be wrong about them again. But don't you worry about it. We've got the docks down onto the bottom side. Going to get a lot of fish here. Really, really nice fish spawn for TheRapl. On the other side here for Ulysses, this is Sons of the Sun, not Sons of Sleipnir. Sons of Sleipnir is for Balder. I get them confused because sun, they're the same. They sound the same phonetically. You know, they're spelt different. Sometimes I will never understand, or not sometimes, I will never understand why English is the way it is. It's just a silly language. It is a silly language. And if my son would be the son of a sun goddess, I would then be someone else's not son. Because that would be making that statement somewhat true. Alright, relics on the map. We've got ourselves Tyr, Fing, Angang, Tyr's Sword. I love this relic. TheRapl is going to love this relic. I've already got a little bit of an inkling as to what TheRapl's going to be going for here. With the boosted food income, with the crazy favor gather rate, Mamilo heroes are absolutely insane for Uranos in this matchup. They're absolutely insane. I've seen him do it once before. I wonder if Ulysses is going to have some sort of some sort of something to do in this one. I mean, if he knows what's coming for him, he can kind of prepare for it. If he doesn't, he has to react in the moment, which is always going to be a possible thing to do. We're seeing Athena come through, no surprises. We're also going to be seeing Oceanus come through here for the RAPL. So no surprises there either. Though I have seen Prometheus on this map, and I don't think I'd be surprised either way. As we've got the Oracle starting to come out. And this is something that I would definitely recommend for Atlantean players as you're advancing to the Second Age. Treat this temple kind of like a second town center to some degree, but you get to just choose when you want to build them or not. You've got 6 to build out. They cost double the cost, but you don't have to build a town center. So it's kind of insane. As we see another Oracle coming out here. So it's going to go up to 5. I think 5 Oracles early game is almost more than you can spend in terms of favor generation. So it's about the amount you want to go for, is my guess. So going up to 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 or even 10, I've seen happen. In the wonderful world of soup. Did we check out this relic? Bow of Artemis is on the map as well, reducing that one down there. And Eye of Horus as well. And over onto this side, Pelt of Argus. So if we take a quick look into the wonderful map of RAPL, he's going to be dropping down the Sky Passage. He's going to be getting himself the military barracks. 3 of them. And on the other side here for Ulysses, I could be wrong, but it kind of looks like he's going for a fast heroic. I don't see any barracks. I don't see any units out. I think he's going for a fast heroic, and this is going to be dangerous. The problem with the fast heroic here from Zeus is that your opponent doesn't have to really care about the Skylar. You're going to send them in, as we see the Bite of the Shark frontline heroics coming in. He's going to send them in with the Skylar. And then you're going to get greeted not by archer ships, not by hammer ships, not by siege ships, but by Mamilo Hero. As another mana coming through. Dionysus is on the way. Now, if the idea here for Ulysses is not to fight the water in the slightest here, but instead go into Hypaspis straight away to try and counter this Mamilo frontline heroics thing going on, that would be cool. Now, I do think it's important to be aware. Does this technology affect? Here, it doesn't. Okay, so there's no way to know unless you see the Mamilo hero, I guess. Hang on, does it show on a Mamilo hero? It does. So, I guess the way to know if this strategy is coming ahead of the game is to simply check. If you see any Mamilo heroes, simply just check their cost. 85 food, 49 gold. That's less than they should be. That means they're going for a frontline heroics build of mass shenanigans here. As we see the hoplites coming through, we've got those Sarissa swords on the way, or spears, I should say. As a Mamilo coming up to the top side of the map here, we do have a cheeky little villager way out of position, and RAPL is going to enjoy sniping that one down, as it will end up falling, and then he can start going after the fishing ships. So they've got to garrison away. You cannot sit here and just lose those. But the Skylar is now in, and Ulysses is going to be under a lot of pressure here from these Mamilo heroes to take that out. That's going to be gone immediately. As what can Ulysses do now? He has no advantages here. He's still got a bolt in his back pocket. As the Mamilos coming in yet again. There's so many Mamilo heroes. And now we're starting to see the Hypaspis. So he is going into it nice and early, which he absolutely has to. And I'm fairly sure that Hypaspis are going to be able to beat these Mamilos, these Mamilo heroes. But the thing is that a Mamilo hero, if we do a quick little analysis of stats once we see a Hypaspis. I want to see a Hypaspis. I don't get to see any. We'll see it later. Nonetheless, 125 HP, nearly, or 9.8 hack damage per second. And there's the Hypaspis. Hypaspis will be doing 5.5 times 5. So 30 plus damage. So yeah, this isn't even going to be close. So RAPL's got to be careful with these fights once the Hypaspis come through. Hoplites, on the other hand, do not trade well against these Mamilo heroes in the slightest. Killing animals does not work. I think if you kill a aggressive animal, military or economic units, so not animals at all. As the Minotaur gets sent back. And now Ulysses stuck in his main base here. The Mamilo, they're not going to care about anything in this main base. Dropping that Carnivora down here as well. We have heavy Hippaspis through, but is there enough of them? Or are there enough of them in this case? Is the Restoration going to be getting dropped down in an effort to defend on this position here? Carnivora going to get sniped down. And population-wise, these Hippaspis, there's not quite enough of them. Only 6. But they're going to start building up in a big way, and TheRapl might need to consider the next stage of his plan, which, if I'm correct about this, is going to be Dryads. Now, the idea here is a little bit of a cheeky one. Yes, and there's the thing. The idea is Hippaspis are insane, but guess what isn't insane? Not microing your Hippaspis. So the plan here for TheRapl is to run the Dryads in first, get the Hippaspis to target down the Dryads, and then get those Mamilo to just snipe everything else off. And that's going to be a micro off, something that I know Ulysses is very, very good at. So we'll see if he's going to be able to manage this as those Mamilo need to retreat away. And beyond this, if TheRapl's army does end up getting killed, then TheRapl can move into Mass Contarius to then absolutely dominate the Hippaspis on the next fight before hoplites come through. And I like that Ulysses at the moment is continuing to build hoplites because he needs to ensure that he's got an answer for Contarius Mamilo coming forward. It's a lot of Mamilo heroes, and we are also having copper weapons coming through. For those of you who don't know, armory upgrades. Wait, am I wrong on this? Oh, I am. So armory upgrades on the defensive end affect heroes even more. Some great villager kills onto the back here. Wow, the differential in villagers is insane. The Mamilo get 10%, I believe, for this. Yeah. So 10% more on the attack, but 15% more on the armor as the Hesperid's tree gets dropped down. All of those Dryads are going to get queued up. He's got to wait another minute for the secondary Hesperid's tree to come through before he can start getting the next 5 Dryads out. But once he gets to 10 Dryads and full Mamilo heroes, this is where things get challenging for Ulysses. But Ulysses, 8 villagers on the favor. He's going to be able to get himself another restoration in. Now, this is where the question comes in for me. Is it worth it to do this? Considering you're not at full population, you could be using those resources elsewhere on like upgrades or something like that. A question for you guys to answer, because I don't have a great real answer to it. I definitely think a lot of the pro players are going for these restorations nice and quick. But I don't know. Would it be better to have perhaps bronze armor in a little bit earlier? Perhaps bronze weapons in a little earlier? Perhaps 180 population or 175 population a little earlier? I don't know. But the army now coming through. These hoplites are out of position. The army of TheRapl does outpace the speedy hoplites of Zeus, as we see that second Hesperid's tree is in. The units are still massing up here. Hippaspis, Toxotes. Honestly, Ulysses is just getting the correct army out. But the problem is his economy is so far behind. Population-wise, he's in front. But you have to remember that all of those Dryads are worth around about 3 pop in terms of stats. If you say it's 2 pop just for ease sake, you have to add an extra 20 here. So it's about equal. As the army going to be regrouping up onto this gold mine. We've got a fortress coming down now for Ulysses. As Ulysses slowly starting to push forward, those Dryads are going to start getting a little bit of damage done. Stymphalian birds shooting from the sky here. As all of those hoplites going to be coming back onto this position. You've got 20 Hippaspis over here to defend. 3 Stymphalian birds as well. How much? He's got 6 villages. Or 6 oracles, so he's getting a lot of favor. The hero's not out. Odysseus is coming in. We see 1 bolt coming down over there. There's just so many. And now watch the micro here from TheRapl. He decides to pull back once that bronze comes in. Next time, watch. There we go. Dryads come forward, and now TheRapl engages. And Ulysses, he's got to fix this these Hypaspis, they're all targeting down the tanky Dryads. Another restoration coming through as the heroes getting that damage done from above here. And now we're starting to see the Arcus coming in an attempt to hold here. 20 seconds remaining on that bronze. So much food in the bank now for our main man, TheRapl. I mean, this is funny that Kalaga, a map with water, has not had any real water engagement. Both of these players are just like, let's just handshake on the water. We're just gonna ignore it's there. Everyone's just gonna have a lovely 18 fishing ships to get a boosted amount of resources there. Hera queued up here for Ulysses as Rapl has to realize he's on somewhat of a timer here as the Dryads are going to charge forward. We've got the Fortress on this position going to be helping defend here as well as the Hypaspis coming around onto this side. Will Rapl do his cheeky little pullback? It looks like he's not going to be going for it. Can Ulysses hold here or not is the big question. It looks like the army is just so insanely strong here. Rapl is flying. Galadriel's back and forth on that position as well. Shockwave onto the Toxotes comes through. And in that moment, Ulysses taps out and Rapple's economy. Just look at the resources in the bank. Rapple's economy just too strong in this one as he completely plays Ulysses in this game with the front line heroics, Mamilo, plus those Stymphalian birds. Just an insanely strong army. Just to put it into perspective here, this army is twice the value of Ulysses' army. Twice! You could go to the Mythic Age twice over here, basically, as the Zeus player. But you take a look at the resources collected, and Rapl just leaves Ulysses in the dust in this game, being in front by 7,000 resources in a 15-minute game. That's an insane advantage. The raids mattered. This is the problem. This is the thing. The raids mattered. Overview, statistics, military, villagers killed. 27! That's where the problem happened here. Great play from Rapl. Fantastic control in this game and keeping Ulysses on the back foot. And that means he's on to the next round. Gets the dub. If you guys enjoyed this one, please consider following the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you guys in the next game.